All right, so I've made quite a bit of progress with my tile. I've removed quite a bit of material from the sides here and here. I've removed some material from here, keeping my tool at an angle so that I can create that illusion of depth on the pig's face. I have a bit more work that I plan to do here and over here. But I want to talk about eyes because many of you have chosen creatures that have eyes. So my eyes right now are feeling a little bit lifeless, right? They're just kind of flat. So I want to create some dimensionality, and I also want to make a lid for the eye. So I'm going to start with the eye over here, and I'm taking a very small piece of wet clay, and I'm going to score this clay, and I'm going to kind of try to shape it like an almond shape because the pig does have kind of an almond shape eye. I'm looking at my picture. Okay, obviously that doesn't look great right now, but I'm going to kind of round it, and then I'm going to also make a lid for it. So now what I'm going to do is take a tiny piece of clay, and I'm going to make it into a tiny snake by rolling it in my hands. And I'm going to apply a little bit of slip, and I rough it up a little bit, and then kind of encase the eye. And that still is not done. I'm now going to take my smoothing tool, and I am looking at my picture of my eyeball here while I'm doing this. And I am going to go through and try to meld the lid into the clay a little bit. I'm not loving how much the eyeball is sticking out, so I think what I'm going to do in a little bit is I'll go in and carve the eyeball out a little bit more, but it's too wet to do that. And now I'm going to create a lower lid by same thing, very, very tiny coil. Trying to think of what this even reminds me of, like the size of. Kind of looks like the size of one part of a fork. It's like the thickness of the end of a fork. So very, very thin. I'm not even scoring it. It's so thin. I'm just going to put it right on there with some slip. It should stay. And then I am going to also take my tool and blend that in just so that the eyeball has some lid so that it's not just flat. Because the eyeball is encased in, protected by the upper and lower lid. The lower lid is typically smaller and thinner than the upper lid. Okay. So again, I'm well aware that that is sticking out more than I want it to, but after it has firmed up, I will go in and carve down the eyeball a little bit more so it's not sticking out quite so much, but it definitely has a bit more life than it did, you know. So I'm going to go in and do the other eyeball.